Hey guys, it's your guy in the chair here, and look, this is my review for She-Hulk, the new Disney Plus Marvel series that literally just came out and just had its finale. I'm ready to talk about it, and the way I'm going to do this is, it is a spoiler-filled review. I'm just going to talk about plot points that I just want to talk about. I'm not necessarily going to go like bit by bit and go over everything that happened in this series, but I am going to go over some key elements or things that just stood out to me. I'm going to start with the good and then segue into I'm going to call it the bad, but it's kind of just like the convoluted and the annoying at this point. Like, I'll explain when I get down to that road. But as far as the good goes, I'm going to start with Jen Walters, Tatiana Maslany. Hopefully I'm saying her name correctly. But basically, Jen Walters, the She-Hulk herself, she was absolutely incredible. She was a character who I didn't know how she would fit into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because the way they were portraying the show was essentially like a Harvey Birdman attorney at law type thing, where she is literally using her superpowers, but she's using it in a way to just help people with the law and politics and things like that. She wants to be a lawyer. She doesn't really want to be a superhero. And honestly, throughout the show, Jen Walters' character moments make for some of the best moments in the show itself, like when she's actually, dealing with the internal conflict of how to be Jen Walters and be the She-Hulk at the same time. And then, honestly, that makes for a lot of good episodes in the middle of the series, too, when she's going on dates and she's not sure if people are using her just to get to She-Hulk or if they actually like her for Jen. It makes for a lot of good character moments and a lot of good plot points, man. But at the same time, then we get into, I can't get into the bad yet, but as far as the good goes, like I said, she is amazing, Jen Walters. The characters in this show, period, are actually amazing. The fourth wall breaking and all that, it's very entertaining, it's very fun. The show is actually very charming, it's pretty funny. Like I said, the other characters, not her assistant, but her partner, I don't know the actress's name. And then you have Wong, of course, you got Charlie Cox as Daredevil. First of all, Charlie Cox as Daredevil, welcome back, sir, because you have been dearly missed. I enjoyed every second watching him on screen doing his thing. He's still the same charming, suave, sophisticated, action-packing Daredevil that we all love from back in the day or from the Netflix series, and I'm ready to see what he does on these on the MCU side of the things. But as far as the good goes, man, look, Jen Walters, she was great. The characters are great. This show is funny, it's entertaining. But for other than that, it's like, another great thing about this show is the finale. I'm going to talk strictly about the finale right now. So essentially what happens in the finale is after we get to a certain point where it looks like the plot is going one way, which we've seen it before, where, a person has been building up through the entire series to get the person's superpowers and through a serum or some sort of way. Then you got Bruce coming in, you got him and the Abomination going at it. You got Titania coming back in. And after all that, Jen just looks around and says, what the hell is going on? This is very confusing. She literally breaks out of a Disney Plus screen. So like that was entertaining. That was good. That was very creative. I thought that was amazing, the way she just swung from one, I don't even know what they're called, one title screen to the other, and she was able to find Kevin Feige, who actually ended up being this AI robot. And it's this joke that Marvel wants to say that they are self-aware of what's going on, and they know that we're tired of shows or projects ending the same, or they're feeling the same way, and it's kind of a self-aware little joke, and it's very funny and very entertaining. But for me, at the same time, it's telling me that, okay, either you guys knew the whole time we're annoyed by this and you're just doing it for the hell of it, or this finale is proving that you have learned from your ways and you are going to, from now on, try different ways to end your films and projects and make things feel unique again. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. But either way, that's kind of where I get into the convoluted part of things, because this show kind of has me on the edge of the quantity and quality argument of, the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe going on right now. Of course, Blade has been stopped with production because they need to find a director or writer and things like that. And it's becoming to a point where people are feeling that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is getting too big for itself. It's overwhelmed. They're trying to push out too many things at once. They just came out with Werewolf by Night, which I did see. It was very good. Granted, I'm not aware of those characters. My friend did tell me there's some comic book relevance to the Werewolf by Night people. I didn't get that, though. I really thought that, without Marvel's name, that still would have been a very good special. But either way, Marvel is just getting to the point where there's just a lot going on, and I don't know if they're able to control everything, if they're going to really make every product as good as they need it to be or as good as it should be. Now, granted, this show itself, like I said, it teeters between the quality-quantity type thing, because there are a lot of redeeming qualities about this show. But I gotta be honest, the way this show was advertised, as far as making it seem like Daredevil was going to show up way earlier than he did, it makes me feel like they relied on a lot of false advertising here to get you to watch the show when they didn't really need to. Wong in himself is very entertaining throughout the series, and honestly, it's good to see Tim Roth as Abomination. Like, there's very good characters in this show, and they could honestly make for a good series. It's just you don't have to advertise Daredevil to make people watch it. I mean, that is going to get more people to watch, but if he's not going to show up until like weeks later, why are we putting character posters out for him? Why are we putting trailers out for him? What is the point of all that? I don't know, but like I said, this show teeters back and forth between the quality, quantity, because I gotta be honest, it's like this show for me definitely had the same feels that all the other Marvel shows have had, except Loki, WandaVision, and the early ones, because those were very good. But then after a while, you start to see their pattern. They're starting off pretty strong. Then we get midway through the season. It's kind of like, oh, where are we going with this? Is it going to have a good ending, a bad ending? What is going on here? And then we get to the end where they put everything in all they can into the finale, and they make it as best as it can so they can make you think that the last 8 or 9 weeks that you spent watching this show have been the best time of your life. She-Hulk tried to do the same, because I was definitely, before watching this finale, I was definitely going to argue at the fact that this is definitely on the quantity side. This is not quality. This is on the quantity side. But now She-Hulk is definitely in the middle for me, because the finale was just so amazing. I didn't want to be overwhelmed by it, but I didn't want to be amazed by it. I didn't want them to do what they normally do in these finales and just take my breath away. But they did. This finale was very good. Now, I will say this about the show, though. Is it the most groundbreaking thing you've ever seen as far as action sequences go? No. Does it have dialogue that keeps you so interested that you gotta know what happens next? No. Not necessarily. But it is one of Marvel's most least problematic shows, in the sense that the premise that it presents to you, they follow that to a T. That, granted, they are doing a lot of, different things to keep the show entertaining and feeling fresh, but like I said, this is literally Marvel's version of Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, or that Bird Girl series that's on HBO Max. I think it's on Adult Swim now, but it's literally the same thing as that. If you've seen those shows, it's literally like a week-to-week thing of her just solving different cases, trying to be Jen and She-Hulk at the same time, figure out her life, and it all led to something. Well, it led to something her way. Jen wanted to essentially figure this out her way, and the way she did the finale, talking to that AI Kevin Feige bot, she ended up wanting to do things on her own, and she got her way at the end of the day. The episode was called This Is My Show, or something like that. But look, overall, I just feel like this is one of Marvel's least most problematic shows, because they're not presenting to you a show where they're trying to do much more than just have a character piece of Jen Walters. She's a She-Hulk attorney at law. It's a lot of fun character moments. I keep saying that a lot, but really the characters are what make this show, because the plot is cool. Like I said, it's really Jen Walters' story that keeps this thing going, and it really keeps it enlightening. But other than that, like, the other side characters just really make the show entertaining and funny. And other than that, like, it's a cool show. It is. It's not anything like spectacular or out of this world. I do want to see more of Jen Walters in the future, and I really want to see what Hulk was doing, because now his son Scar has gotten introduced, and we're just all lost on that. But essentially, look, the show is cool. Jen Walters is great. Just overall, I really think Marvel, hopefully, my thing is, my takeaway from this show, or what I'm trying to take away from this show, is either Marvel's about to learn their lesson and we're about to start getting some really good stuff out of Phase 5 and Phase 6. Either that, or the quality quantity argument is becoming very obvious, and Marvel's got to find something to do with that, because I can't say DC's catching up, but I'll just say this: with the news that Black Adam is getting, as far as Peacemaker, the Batman go, if Black Adam is a hit like people are saying it is, DC probably had the better year. And it's crazy because Marvel pushed out a lot more projects. But I gotta admit, Moon Knight was mid. Miss Marvel I enjoyed. I would say She-Hulk is good. It's not mid. It's not anything close to mid. It's not anything close to spectacular. I'm not saying Miss Marvel was spectacular, but Miss Marvel was good in my opinion. She-Hulk is good as well. It's just, it depends on what you're looking for here, because if you're looking for anything to like story pushing, as far as like pushing it towards the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's doing that, but it's not like doing it in a big way where you're like, oh my god, that's a big Easter egg. No, it's just setting up Daredevil Born Again. It's setting up other projects later down the road. She hinted at a movie, so maybe a World War Hulk is coming. I don't know. I'm hoping that's the fact, but look, overall, I just enjoyed the show. I thought it was good. If you don't, or if you feel like this show's a waste of time, I could definitely see why. I could definitely see why you would think so, because like I said, those middle episodes definitely feel like that. I didn't even know this thing was going to be 9 episodes. It felt like the finale was coming for like the last 3 weeks, and I just kept realizing, like once I got to the end of these episodes, I'm like, oh, that's not it? Okay, whatever. So the advertising of this show is absolutely terrible, because I had no idea when the finale was coming. They kept advertising when Daredevil was coming, but he was coming weeks after that. I don't know. They were all over the place with that. I think they were just trying to keep people engaged, and that was the problem. They weren't there wasn't enough weekly material to keep people engaged coming back week by week, because you had the Wong stuff, but then he'd be out of episodes. They just did a lot of in and outs, and that's why this show is kind of convoluted. I'm gonna teeter it literally between quantity and quality, but overall, those are my thoughts on She-Hulk, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Let me know what your thoughts are on the future of the MCU. Like, do you really think Kevin Feige's running into an issue with this quality versus quantity thing? Let me know in the comments below, guys. But look, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. This is your guy in the chair. More content coming to you soon.